Thanks so much, everybody. Happy Hump Day, as we used to call it in corporate. Happy Hump Day. Happy Wednesday to you. It's the Prosperity Mindset Call. We're here every single Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. And really the call was designed to get our day started, get our weekend started, to get us in the right frame of mind, to get our heads and our hearts working together as we go out and do some significant things in our life and in our business. And that's the purpose of the call every single morning. This morning I want to talk about, have you set yourself up today to win? Have you set yourself up today to win? And I'm going to ask you guys some questions, because when I first got started working on my own, it was difficult because I wasn't that disciplined on my times and when I was going to engage in the right activities to get the right things accomplished. One of the dangers of our industry is that people work from home. That's a beautiful thing, but it also can be a bad thing if we don't control our environment around us to make sure that we're doing the right activities and staying focused when we're working our business, that we truly are working our business. One of the things that I struggled with was letting personal things intertwine in my day to unfocus me to doing the business that I need to do to accomplish the goals that I wanted to get accomplished. And the first mistake that I made was I was trying to work at the kitchen table. I would recommend that everybody on this call, you don't have to have a Taj Mahal house, but you want to work somewhere that people have minimum access to. You want to have a room that you call or kind of situated as your office where people know, your family know, or friends know that when you're in that room, it's about you building your business. So you want to set up a work area, number one. Number two, I scheduled my day just like I scheduled it at corporate. I scheduled my day just like I did at corporate. When I first got started in the industry, I was helter-skelter. I'd just pick up the phone every now and then. In between TV shows or in between what I was doing, I'd work my business. And I kind of didn't have any kind of rhythm in my business. So the structure of my business wasn't going the way I wanted to go because I wasn't structured properly. So you want to make sure that you schedule your day just like you were if you were working a corporate job. And my example of that is, so 10 o'clock this morning, that's a scheduled event. Getting on a Prosperity Mindset Call is a scheduled event from 10 to 10:15. So what are you doing when you get off this call? What's your schedule look like? If I could put a crystal ball out right now to everybody that's on the call, do you have a schedule for today? What's your schedule like when you get off this call? Now, some people work in jobs, and I understand when I got in the industry, I was working a corporate job. But what I did was I used my downtime to build my business. So lunchtime was a big opportunity for me. So maybe if I was working in corporate America, lunchtime was an opportunity for me to expose 1 to 2 people during lunch, because I'd take somebody to lunch with me. I would never eat lunch alone. I would always make sure that I had somebody in front of me that I could share what I'm doing with those individuals. So let's just assume that everybody's working a job, because 80% of our industries working jobs when they get involved in the industry. So let's just look at the schedule. If I had to schedule my day, if I was working a job, well, obviously when I get up, I roll in the morning. Obviously, I would get into my personal devotion and get into my personal development. Okay, even if I was preparing myself to go to work, I was in the bathroom, in my bedroom, I would be listening to personal growth and enhancement. When I got in the car on the way there, I would be working on personal growth and enhancement. So I would get, the first thing in the morning, I would get a lot of positive energy, a lot of positive information going into my subconscious, building me up in the morning, because I know the rest of the day is going to really be the result of how I think in the morning. So I'm going to make sure I got fed right, so to speak, spiritually and from a personal development standpoint early in the morning. So that would be my drive time into work. Okay, maybe I would make a few phone calls early in the morning if I had some early risers that I was trying to get in contact with that I didn't get in contact with the previous day. I would use the drive time into work as follow-up time. I'd make phone calls on my way into work. Okay, once I got to work, obviously it was work, but what I did was I made sure at my desk that I always had something positive around me, a positive book I was reading, positive material, magazines, all the stuff that we use in our business. I made sure I had access to it, so if I came in contact with somebody that I wanted to expose, I could. So lunchtime came, that's when I made sure that I always had someone to sit down with at lunchtime. I made sure at lunch, we got an hour lunch. I obviously never ate an hour. I made sure I sit down with somebody 30 minutes. The other 30 minutes, I'd be making phone calls from lunch, driving people to the events during the day. Okay? So if I had somebody that I was eating lunch with, and we're in an environment that had a computer or an iPad, I would pop up the live broadcast at noon and sit there and watch it with my lunch guests while we're eating lunch. And then after it was over, I had 30, 40 minutes, I would make calls and drive them into the evening one, because back then we didn't have multiple broadcasts. We had conference calls. We had 2 a day, one at noon and one at 9. So I would use that time at lunchtime to make phone calls to get people to the 9 broadcast or follow up from people that were on the news with the 3-way calls. So at the end of the day, I would get off at 5 o'clock, and that's when the magic happened. That's when I was able to start getting wealthy. From 5 to around 10 or 11 at night, that's when I put my work in. Because most people were at home. I had my work done where I was able to take financial pressure off my family by working a job. But from 5 to 11, ladies and gentlemen, the hammer was down. Massive phone calls, massive 3-ways, massive follow-up, massive coaching, conference calls, training. That's when I built my empire from 5 to 11 at night. And once I start understanding time zone well, then I start working on the West Coast while I was on the East Coast. While people on the East Coast were shutting down, I would stay up an hour or two late, and I started building on the West Coast. And that's how I was able to build myself out of a job. I was able to get myself out of that environment so I could really do what I wanted to do, which was enjoy freedom, time freedom, and have financial freedom. And that's what I would recommend. If you're working a job, that's okay. We all started. Most of us start on a job, and that's okay, because a job can have you interface with a lot more people. Some people say, well, I got to hurt and get full time. Ladies and gentlemen, when I walked off my job, my income was over $20,000 when I walked off my job. And the reason why I planned it that way, I didn't want to walk off early because I wanted to get some of the key people off my job in my business. And I wanted them to see that you could do this while you still could work a job. It's very powerful to be having a 6-figure income from home part-time and you're still working your job. I use that to put myself in a leveraged position to be able to do great things. So it's not per se a bad thing to work. It's to stay there. You're there to garner contacts, to build your skill sets up, to create financial security for your family, and to be able to use that time to build yourself up, to have more confidence, to have a better you, to be able to understand the industry better, to be able to be a better student, be a better leader. And it gives you time so you're not out there fishing, so to speak, with no water. And I use that to do that. So what I did was when I was able to walk away, now I didn't walk away until I had 6 months. 6 months of income. 6 months of straight income in my business that I was earning on my job. I didn't walk away until then. Then I made sure that I had resources in place, that I wasn't walking away too early. A lot of people walk away from the jobs too early. They're not ready. They're not mentally ready from a maturation standpoint. They're not financially ready from a business perspective, and they put themselves in harm's way because they do it too soon. They don't have the horsepower, so to speak, to continue on. But when I was able to do that, then I was able to transfer my structure into my business to go full time or seriously part time. And that's when I was able to say, you know what, now this is when it really got serious, because I had all day. What was I going to do with my day? They said, what do you do all day? Well, personal growth and enhancements, networking, building myself up, coaching, training, mentoring, attraction marketing, where I'm out. And you know, people can only come to something that they're attracted to. So I worked on myself, my skill sets, my communication skills, my training skills. These are all skills that I learned skills over time. But to make the transition is we got to have a structure in our life, in our business. We have to have structure. And most people fail in this industry because they have no structure. So if I ask you today, what are you doing from 5 to 7 p.m., it should be a calendar. You should know exactly what you're doing. You should know today when you woke up how many phone calls you have, how many people on your list that you're going to be calling back. How many people did you call yesterday? How many people did you miss yesterday? How many laundry packages? Everything was scheduled out. Everything is broken down to finite information so I can see exactly what's happening in my business. And I didn't learn this at first. I I got around somebody and I learned, and I said, man, I see how he's making this money. He's still working a job, but he taught me how to structure my day. And once I was able to start getting control of my day, I got control of my business. So we have to have structure in our business. So what are you going to do when you get off? What's your schedule at 10:15? What's your schedule for the rest of the day? If you don't have it written down, if you don't have it planned out, then it's probably one of the things you want to start focusing in on, structuring your day. Because you can't structure your day, you have no track to run on. You just kind of helter-skelter, hoping and wishing something's going to happen in your business. And we all know that's not the way to build a big business. So that's what I want to share this morning on this call. Structure our day.